Our time in Japan during Sakura season felt peaceful, calming, and almost spiritual, as if spring was inviting us to slow down. In Japan, spring has a color, soft pink, almost white, drifting through the air like confetti. These are Sakura, the cherry blossoms, and for a few short weeks each year, they transform streets, parks, temples, castles, and gardens into something that feels almost dreamlike. We began at Ueno Park, one of Tokyo's most famous places for cherry blossoms. Walking beneath these rows of trees, you quickly understand why Sakura season is so loved in Japan. It is not just about seeing the flowers, it's about pausing, gathering with people you love, and appreciating beauty while it is here. At the Tokyo National Museum garden, the blossoms felt quieter and more hidden. Surrounded by traditional paths and historic scenery, the sakura added a calm, elegant softness to the space. Then we visited Zojo-ji Temple, where the blossoms created a beautiful contrast between old and new. In one view, we had the peaceful temple grounds, delicate cherry blossoms, and the Tokyo Tower rising in the background. It felt like a perfect snapshot of Tokyo itself, tradition, nature, and modern city life all in one place. At Kitanomaru Park, the scenery opened up again. The trees surrounded the paths and the water, and the blossoms added this softness to everything. Sakura are often connected with impermanence, the idea that beauty does not last forever. When petals begin to fall, that meaning feels very real. One of the most beautiful places we saw Sakura was Shinjuku Gyoen National Garden. Compared with some of the busier spots in Tokyo, this garden felt spacious and peaceful. There was room to wander, to pause, and to really take in the different kinds of cherry trees. Because our trip stretched from late March into early April, we were able to experience Sakura season as it was unfolding. Some trees were full and cloud-like, others were softer and more delicate, with petals already beginning to fall. That is part of what makes the season feel so special. You cannot control it completely. You can plan around it, follow the forecast, and hope to arrive at the right time. But nature still decides the final schedule. In Japan, cherry blossom viewing is called hanami, which literally means flower viewing. But hanami is more than just looking at flowers. People bring picnic blankets, snacks, drinks, cameras, and friends. Families gather under the trees, co-workers meet after work, and strangers all pause for the same reason: to enjoy a moment that will only last for a little while. As we walked through Shinjuku Gyoen, it's easy to see how Sakura can make a huge city feel gentle. The blossoms softened the skyline, the lawns were full of people relaxing, and every tree seemed to have its own personality. Some branches were full and dramatic, almost like clouds. Others were simple and delicate, with petals catching the light every time the wind moved. There is something really moving about how short the season is. The flowers bloom, reach their peak, and then begin to fall, sometimes all within a matter of days. That briefness is a big part of their meaning. Sakura remind people to appreciate the present, because even the most beautiful things are temporary. And maybe that is why filming them felt so special. Every clip became a little memory of a moment we knew would not last. Chidorigafuchi Green Way was one of those places that felt almost unreal. The cherry trees lined the moat, their branches stretching over the water with petals floating on the surface below. It is one of the most iconic sakura views in Tokyo, and standing there you can see why. There is a different kind of beauty when sakura are near water. The blossoms above you, the reflections below, and the petals drifting across the moat all create this layered, peaceful scene. Even with so many people around, it still felt calming. By this point in the trip, we had seen sakura in parks, gardens, and temple grounds, but Chidorigafuchi had its own magic. It felt romantic, cinematic, and completely connected to the rhythm of spring in Tokyo. It was the kind of place where every angle looked like a postcard. At Hama-rikyu Gardens, the blossoms appear besides ponds, bridges, and carefully landscaped paths. What made this spot special was the contrast, a traditional Japanese garden surrounded by the modern buildings of the city. Sakura have a way of changing how you see a place. A path becomes softer, a skyline feels less busy. Even a quiet corner suddenly feels meaningful. At Hama-rikyu, the flowers seemed to tie together the old, the new, the natural, and the carefully designed. In Fujiyoshida, the Sakura experience became even more dramatic because of Mount Fuji. Seeing cherry blossoms with Fuji in the distance is one of those views that feels almost too perfect, like a postcard, but suddenly you're standing inside it. Here the blossoms felt connected not just to spring, but to the larger landscape of Japan. The pink petals, the mountain, the crisp air, and the sense of place all came together in a way that felt unforgettable. Our final Sakura stop was Osaka Castle. Surrounded by history and blossoms, it was the perfect ending to our spring journey, a reminder to notice beauty while it's blooming.